Did you share with your wife last night?
I did right. I got home. Yeah.
Very good. What'd she say?
Very happy.
The Rambam has a whole diet. Yes, on delay. On delay a little bit. 1 second. We don't want to delay. We don't want to things on delay. No. Do the same.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay, we're good. Okay, 1 second, Joseph. Okay. Morning, Joseph. Morning. Was it sent out? Morris was sent out to the group that we're on, or not yet? He's gonna send that to the. Oh, Joseph is sending it out. Okay. Thank you, Joseph.
Welcome.
Yeah. Mem Dalet on the base, 44B. Today we will finish. We look forward to finishing the parak today. Okay. We welcome Mr. Haber back. And we'll note that Bertha Smecki was here today, and he was the. And we'll note that he is, because of him, the whole class started.
Yes, he was the one that found Rabbi.
Yeah, so we have to give a special thanks to him. Mr. Haber will give it over, tell him that we mentioned, gave special call out there. Okay, Bez Hashem, we're going to have the honor to finish the 6th parak, and we're going to be starting a very famous parak in Berachos called Shlosha Sha'achlu. Let's first, one thing at a time. Mem Dalet Amud Beis. We are on 44B, as Mara said yesterday. Yesterday we were talking about healthy foods, which foods are very healthy. The Gemara is a big advocate of eggs, that an egg is very healthy. The Gemara says lightly roasted egg seems to be the healthiest out of all the eggs. But even the boiled egg is also very healthy. All eggs in whatever form are very, very healthy. I don't know if that's why Rabbi Feinstein every day had eggs for breakfast, but Rabbi David Feinstein, I don't know if that's why, but he used to always order. Rabbi Feinstein, when he used to go out to eat for breakfast, he always ordered eggs. Rabbi David Feinstein. I don't know if it was any connected to the Gemara, just he enjoyed eggs, I can't tell you. But the Gemara does say that eggs are very healthy. The Rambam has. Right, an egg, as Mr. Haber point halacha, that many people do not know, good morning, that an egg cannot be cooked for you by a guy. If you have a Gentile working for you in your house, as a housekeeper or whatever, she cannot turn on the fire, put up the pot on for the eggs. The eggs is something that is subject to the laws of bishul akum, and you should know there was a certain store in a certain place that I came into, and they served eggs. It was like I don't want to say what it was. I don't want to give away the store. It's not in existence anymore. And they had like an electric type of thing that they would open and close just to make scrambled eggs. And I noticed that the non-Jewish worker was doing it, and they brought it to the attention of the owner and the supervising agency that this is not acceptable and has to be corrected or whatever has to be. Obviously, I spoke to the owner first or whatever it was, and then to make sure that they should realize that it's not acceptable. You have to make sure that the Jewish person is dealing with the eggs, because that's subject to bishul. Because since eggs are generally not eaten raw, and eggs is an important food, it's subject to the rule of bishul akum, of can't be cooked by a Gentile. Yeah, cracked by a guy is no problem. The only thing is we check eggs. I know that you want to rely on her to check the eggs. You know what I'm saying? We check eggs for blood spots and these type of things. So I don't know if we rely on her or not. That's a good question. But the issue is only cooking an egg. A raw egg cracked by goyim should not be any problem. Okay, good morning, Mike. I don't know if I said it properly. Good morning. And we have Avram coming on and Shmuel coming on as well.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Everybody. And we have a holy man, Teddy Beta, in the room, former student from Baruch College. See you with learning Torah. Keep it up, Teddy. a great day. You too. All the best. So the Gemara says the following. So again, I was just saying that the Rambam has a lot of discussion about food, about the importance of a proper diet and how important it is. And like we said yesterday, the Rambam said the person being healthy helps in your serving Hashem. Therefore, it's important what you eat, how you take care. But the Rambam also talks about being active, meaning a person who goes ahead and they eat the perfect diet, but they don't move around, they don't let the body move around. It's not going to be so. The diet might not be so helpful. And a lot of times, people don't eat such great healthy foods, but the fact that they're very active also helps them. Even that the food that they eat, which is not so great for them, he's able to get over those potential hazards because of being very active. So look at the Rambam about the importance that people have to be active, and we see when people are not active, we see really what happens to them. So therefore, people always have to remain very active. Okay. But for further discussion, I recommend looking at the Rambam regarding the diets, about food. Okay, the Gemara now continues. The Gemara says, the Gemara just said that turnips are not healthy for a person. We are on Mem Dalet Beis, and about 10 lines from the bottom, the first word of the line is overet. Overet betocho. Everyone have it? Overet? So the first one is overet, right? So the Gemara said, we just went ahead and said that turnips are not healthy, that it's not good for the stomach. So the Gemara says, Aini, is that so, that the turnips are not healthy for the stomach? But we have a story. Rava said to his attendant, to the person who was assisting him in buying food and other things, he said to him, when you see a turnip in the marketplace, what should you do? Lo temali. Don't ask me, b'mai karach rifta. Don't ask me, what would I want, Rabbi, what would you want to use to make a sandwich to eat together with your bread? You should know that there's no question about it. I would want to eat my bread with the turnip. So you don't have to even ask me. Sometimes you're in the market and you see certain different foods and you say, what do you want to use? What would you like me to buy? Do you want me to buy this thing? You want to eat this for lunch? You want to have this for lunch? So you don't have to ask me the question. Immediately go ahead and buy the turnip. So before someone else, there's no question. I want that turnip. I would like the turnip. You don't even have to ask me. So therefore, we see clearly that the fact that Rava is telling his Gabbai, you don't need to ask me regarding buying a turnip. It's obvious that the turnip is something which is healthy. It's something good for you. And we just said before that a turnip is something which is not good for your stomach. So obviously, if Rava is eating it, and it's obvious to the Gemara that Rava will not just eat something that's not healthy. Maybe it's obvious. Therefore, it's obvious that it's a good food. So Abaye says, when is a turnip not healthy? If it was cooked without meat. So if it's cooked without meat, then the power, the strength of the turnip, seeing it's still only a turnip, will have a negative effect on the body. However, if you cook it with meat, the fat from the meat will dilute the power, the strength of the turnip. Morning, Sammy. And therefore, as a result of that, it dilutes the power of the turnip. Then the turnip would be healthy. Would be very good. We neutralize, right? Neutralizes any negativity of the power of the turnip, and therefore the combination of coming together will go ahead and but if it comes together with something else, and that other thing has the power to soften up and take away some of the issues of the other food, right? Correct. Now, So the Gemara says, Varava says that when the Brisa says that it's not good for you, if you don't drink wine afterwards. But if you drink wine right after you have the turnip, then it's fine. Then it will not have any negative effect on the body. Itma. So the Gemara continues with different opinions regarding when the Brisa says it's not, when is a turnip not good for you? And you would say, what is it doing in the Gemara? The answer is because the Gemara is interested in you, we should be healthy. So the Gemara wants to tell us at which point is it not good? Rav is of the opinion that when is the turnip not good for your health? If it was not cooked together with meat. Shmuel says if you didn't cook it well. That means to say, if you didn't cook the turnip well and it's still in its original, it's close to its original form, with the original state, with the original strength, even though you cooked it, but you didn't cook enough to really draw out and weaken through the water, which the cooking process, which has the water, and the cooking will take out some of that strength of the food. And Rabbi Yochanan says, Mibli yayin. If you don't drink wine afterwards, that's when it will have a negative effect on you. Amar lo Rava l'Rav Papa. Rava says to Rav Papa, Sudani, a person who's have a great day. So Sudani, a person who goes ahead and is involved in making beer. Rav Papa was involved in making beer. So he says, Anan tavinan le b'bisra v'chamra. He says, we go ahead, we break the power of the turnip by cooking it with meat or drinking wine afterwards. Aton, but you the lo nafesh l'chamra in your house, you don't have so much wine in your house because you're the beer drinkers. You drink beer. That you manufacture beer, and that's what you bring home. That's what you have in your house. So and he became wealthy as a result of being in the beer business, Rav Papa. So he said, but you're in the beer, but my tavisula, how do you break the strength of the turnip? So Rav Papa says, Amalei. So Rav Papa says, B'tzivi, we cook it very well. And since we cook it very well, we cook the turnip very long, we leave it on the fire for a long time, we let it cook, and therefore it takes away the strength of the negativity of the turnip. Kiha, the Gemara illustrates this. Kiha, the Bishu de Rav Papa, the wife of Rav Papa, the basa de mavashula, after she would go ahead and cook the turnip, tavrula betamnin ufei pasiyasa. She would break the strength of the turnip by cooking it with 80 pieces of wood, big pieces of wood that it sounds like it might be exaggeration, but it's a tremendous amount of wood. Now, if you have 80 big pieces of wood for a pot of turnips, that means it's going to take a long time to burn 80 large pieces of wood, which means to say that they kept the turnips on the fire for a very long period of time in order to take away some of the negative effects of the strength of the turnip. That's how they did it. Tana Rabbana.
Foodstuffs with it, or subjecting it to a lot of heat and a lot of cooking that would weaken the strength and the digestion of the turnip, which is difficult maybe to digest, becomes weakened by the overcooking.
right. Therefore, then it won't be negative, no negative effect. Right.
As well, for digestion.
The way you prepare it, right. We had yesterday also in the Gemara. The Gemara said there was a certain food that was not good for your teeth, but it's good for your stomach. It's good for your digestion. The Gemara identified that as let's see what the Gemara said. One second, let's see. The Gemara says the spleen is good for your teeth, and the Gemara said leek. Leek is not good for your teeth, but it's good for your digestive system. So the Gemara says, so what should you do? Cook it. You cook it well, and as a result of cooking, you soften it up. So therefore, you don't have to chew it too much, because if you chew it, it'll be not good for your teeth. So therefore, it goes down very easily, and therefore will not have a negative effect on your teeth. We have it on Rosh Hashanah. We have it on Rosh Hashanah because we said, because it's called in Aramaic karsi. Karsi is karti, like what language of karet. You want the enemy to be killed, the enemy to be knocked out. So therefore, we eat that leek. So that's what the Gemara says. Cook it very well and then swallow it. Okay. Tana Rabbanan. Dag katan meliyach. If you have a small fish that is salted, you salted the fish, let's say sardines or any small fish, pamim shehu memis. There are times that this small fish could be very deadly, that it can be very hazardous for a person's health. When? If you left it in the salt a certain amount of time, too long in the salt, and then you eat it, that's not healthy. And the Gemara is very specific. The Gemara will clarify this. Pa'amim shu memis b'shiva. On the seventh day, if it's 7 days, the seventh day after it was salted, if you go ahead and you eat it then, it will be very dangerous. Then it says also b'shiva asa. On the 17th day, somehow the 7th day is where it reached the climax, but then after it reached that strength, it might not be between 7 and 17, sounds like it's all right. And then 17 again, 10 days later, it gets back to its negative, not healthy. And then again, 10 days later, Be'esim v'shiva, 27 days from the time that you salted it. But Amrillah, and some say that after the 17th, the next time will be unhealthy would be Be'esim v'shlosha, on the 23rd day. The Lo Amaran, and the Gemara says this thing that having the fish salted, small fish that are salted would only be a pram el bin mitvi velo mitvi. But it's only if you roast it, if it's only partially roasted. If you're going to eat this fish and you're only going to roast it, not a good roasting, a partial roasting. However, if you roast it very well, that will take away those negative effects of the salt that preserved the fish. But if you mitvi shapir, it's no problem. Less than butter is no problem with that salted fish. Now again, people would salt the fish obviously to preserve the fish, right? What do you salt is a preservative, and that's something you have to be aware of. So the Gemara says, the low matvi shapir, and if it was not salted, if it was not roasted well, lo amaran el de lo shasi batre shikra. If you did not drink beer afterwards, but if you drink beer after you had this fish that was remained in its salt for a long period of time, but if a shasi shikra, less lamba. The power of the beer that you drink will dilute the effect of that salty fish that you just ate, and it will be healthy for you. Okay. The Mishnah says if you drink water as a result that you're thirsty to drink the water, then we had a machloket in the Mishnah. What's the bracha that you say on drinking water? Do you say sha'akol, Baruch atah Hashem sha'akol, niyeh v'dvaro, or do you say Borin Fashot before you drink water? There's an opinion in the Mishnah. Rabbi Tarfon says you say Borin Fashot not after you drink water, before you drink water. That's the opinion of Rabbi Tarfon. And remember, Borin Fashot Rabot, the Borin Fashot Rabot v'chesranon. What does Borin? Tosfos once said to us, what does it mean? Borin Fashot Rabot. Hashem creates all different types of living. He creates human beings. He creates animals. If you drink 3 ounces, correct, like Mr. Amos said. Right. If you drink less than 3 ounces, you will not say a Borin Fashot. And so if you say Borin Fashot Rabot, Hashem creates all different types of humans, and He creates animals, v'chesranon, and He creates all the things that they're missing, that they're lacking, that they need to live. We need basic food. We need bread. We need water. These are some of the things that we need to live. So, being that Borin Fashot Rabot v'chesranon talks about the basic things in life, so water is one of the basic things that we need to live. So I would think that's why Rabbi Tarfon said that the Borin Fashot Rabot v'chesranon would be a proper bracha to say before you drink the water. We actually say it after we drink water. And Tosfos says, Al koma, the bracha continues, Al koma shebara la'achayot is nehem nefesh kochai, is we thank Hashem not only for the basics of life, which is Rabot v'chesranon, is Al koma shebara la'achayot nehem nefesh kochai. In addition to all the things that Hashem created l'hachayot just to give us extra enjoyment in life. Hashem, the fruits. We don't need fruits to live. We can live without fruits. But Hashem gave us delicious fruits to live. Therefore, we thank Hashem for those things. Therefore, the Borin Fashot is also on fruits and all those type of other foods as well. So that's so he said, Rabbi Tarfon says, you say the bracha Borin Fashot before you drink water. So the Gemara says, before the Gemara is going to discuss who the law follows, the Mishnah says if you drink water because you're thirsty. So the Gemara has the question, Lafuke mai. Water, why do people drink water? Because they're thirsty. So the Gemara wants to know, so obviously you're drinking the water because you're thirsty. So what is the Mishnah telling us? If you drink water, like if I tell you, what does a person eat? Generally, people eat because they're hungry. Maybe people eat for other reasons. They just eat for the sake of eating. We're not being hungry. But generally, people drink water. Why you take a drink? You're thirsty. So the Ritva says, the Gemara's question is, what is the need for the Mishnah to tell me if you drink water because you're thirsty? Obviously, the Mishnah is coming to say only in the case that you're thirsty, but there's another case out there that you might drink water and you're not thirsty, you will not require a bracha. What would that case be? Let's say we know about medicine. You're drinking water, take that medicine. The Gemara gives a different example. Let's say there's something stuck in your throat. And you're eating something and it's stuck in your throat and you're drinking the water. Like, I got to get it down. It's stuck on my throat. I'm not drinking the water for it to help, because I'm thirsty. Therefore, you will not need to say a bracha on the water. If, and Tosfos points out, if I drink orange juice because something is stuck in my throat, since I have benefit from I enjoy orange, it has a taste in contrast to water, I will have to say a shakol on the orange juice, even though I'm drinking it to get down the thing that's in my throat or to get down the medication. What? Right, so it sounds like from the Gemara, if you're doing it not because you're not thirsty, right, and you want to drink the water just to get it down. It hurts, and then you're drinking the water. So if it sounds like from the Gemara, you would not need to make a bracha in that case. If the water is not coming to serve a purpose for drinking purposes, you're thirsty, and you would not say a bracha on the water if it's coming just to get something else down. Is that clear? That's what we don't eat such spicy stuff. The Sfardim are with the spicy stuff. So they eat the spicy stuff, so this is where they get these questions. Right. Okay. So the Gemara says, Lafuki mai, the last words of the page. Amar Rav Idi Bar Avin. Rav Idi Bar Avin says, Lafuki leman dechankateam umsa. The guy has a piece of meat that's stuck in his throat, and he's drinking the water just to get the meat down. So there he does not say a bracha on that. We'll take out the Shulchan Aruch. Now, look at the top Tosfot in the left corner. See the top Tosfot on Memhei, the next page. The top Tosfot. You have it, Mars, you have the top Tosfot. Mr. Haber, you got it? The Chankate Umsa, right? The Tosfot says, the Dafka Mayim, She'ein Lo Hana. Water, you don't have any benefit, no enjoyment. Ki'im L'shtot Mayim L'tzma'o. You're drinking water to quench your thirst. Then you say a bracha. V'hana, the chukase umsen, the enjoyment that now that you were able to go ahead and get the food down, ein zen nechshav hana. That's not called that you benefited from the water, that you have to go ahead and enjoy the water, that you have to say bracha. Of oshar mashkim, other liquids, Tosfos says, shelo olam haguf nena mehem b'chol inyan. You see that, Mike? That the body always enjoys them. Like a tasting food, mevarech afilu chankasi umsa. Even if it's because you drink it because of some other purpose, because you're something stuck in the middle of the ale. Even though the purpose is coming, the Gemara says it's come for refuah to help you for medical purposes. But if you're drinking something that has taste, you have to say a bracha on that.
So therefore, the concept of bread, if you have bread, which one gets bread and throw,
Wait.
is contradicted by what you just said.
So what's your case, Mr. Haber, about the bread? What's your case?
The case is, some people would say, would not say that they have some bread stuck in their throat, they want to drink something in order to ameliorate the condition. But
I think you're talking about Mr. Amos's case. Mr. Amos, I think, was talking about that they had a pepper and they ate the bread. Again, you needed the bread to dilute. Right? They ate the bread to take away the power of the pepper, and because the Gemara had, and then meaning, and therefore you were not interested in eating the bread at all. So there's a Gemara like that, but you have to know that says that if they ate something that was very sweet and they ate something very salty to take away the sweetness, then they had to take away the sharpness of the salty food, then you would not have to say a bracha on the bread in such a circumstance. When you're eating the bread, now to identify that case that the bread is not there for the bread itself, it's not so simple. But that's what the case of the Gemara was, that they ate these fruits from the Kinneret, which are very sweet. And then as a result, it was so sweet, you needed to what was the word they used to dilute it by neutralize it by having a salty food. And then they had to neutralize the salty food by having bread. So the bread was not used for itself. It was only just to get rid of that saltiness, that I just ate something that was very salty, and I felt. So that's but in the case of the case of the Gemara was that you did not, but you weren't interested in eating the bread, and you only ate it for some other purpose. But he's talking about water compared to other water, other liquids, other beverage. Right, because it has no intrinsic taste. Right. Has apple juice. Exactly. That's what the Gemara says. Exactly. Now, right. Rav Tarfon Omer, Bori nefashot rabot v'chesronot. So now, Amalei Rava bar Chanan la'Abaye. Rava bar Chanan says to Abaye, V'omri lei l'Rabbi Yosef, hilchas v'mai. What is the halacha? What do you say on water? Do you say a burn of fashot before you drink the water? Or you say the burn of fashot, or you say shakol before you drink water? So Amalei, so he told them, Pok chazi mai amad davar. Go outside, go see what the Jewish community, how they conduct themselves. Go see if they conduct themselves with, do they say a shahakol? Meaning this is something that happens every day in life. The Jewish community is definitely saying a bracha before they drink the water. And you could go ahead and know if you want to know here what the law is, you could see the minhag. Look at the minhag, the custom of the Jewish community, And then that is the law. The way they're doing it, the way the Jewish community is doing it, meaning if they're doing it a certain way, it was established by their rabbis or the previous community as this is the way to go. Because why is everybody doing it this way? Everybody is saying, it's either saying a shakol before they drink the water, or they're saying a burn of fashot before they're drinking the water. So go look what they're doing, and then you'll see, and that's the law. And he went, and obviously, what were the people doing before they had water? They said a shakol. Therefore, that is, and what did they do after they drank water? They said a burn of fashot. So that's what he told them, and that is the law. In this. Or shakol before water, before drinking water is the question.
I have seen and the great rabbi who was thirsty, and what did he do? He asked for water. He asked for water. And he said the bit I got before, and then he had bread. He wouldn't have the bread.
Yeah, there might be some for some halachic, but yeah, obviously, yeah. But we our custom is not that way. Obviously, we go ahead if you want to have water and you want to have bread, we go ahead and we have the bread, and we don't make a bracha on the water. Obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we'll take out the Shulchan Aruch, 1 second. First of all, how can Allah finish the parak? We'll take a look at the Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch is in Siman Reish Daled, Siv Zayin. I want to see about this last statement that the Gemara just says, go look at what the people do, right? So the Shulchan Aruch says, if you drink water because you're thirsty, you say a shahakol. But if you drink, and afterwards you say a burn of fashot. But if you had something stuck in your throat and you drank the water to remove the thing that was stuck in your throat, you don't say a bracha, not before and not afterwards. Because, right, the Shulchan Aruch brings an opinion. There was an opinion that says that if you drank the water because something was stuck in your throat, you don't say a bracha before, but you say a bracha achorna. There was such an opinion, and the halacha Tosfos says it's not that way. You will not say a bracha. You won't say a bracha before. You will not say a bracha. And the Chafetz Chaim says, right. And the Chafetz Chaim says the following. It doesn't mean that you have to be actually thirsty for the water for you to make a bracha on the water, the Chafetz Chaim says. He says, generally, wherever your throat, you have enjoyment from when you drink some water and you enjoy it. You took a drink. I took a drink of water, and I enjoyed having the drink of water. I enjoyed it. I had, you take a cup of water, you feel good that you had a cup of water, you enjoyed it. Most likely, you were a little thirsty, because if you enjoyed it, if you weren't thirsty at all, you wouldn't feel enjoyment by drinking drinking some water. So if you drank some water, the Chafetz Chaim says, most likely, and you felt enjoyment, you felt good that I enjoyed it. I felt some enjoyment. Most likely that means you met the condition that you were really thirsty. And therefore you say a bracha. Because if you were not thirsty at all, then you would have no enjoyment at all from the drinking of the water. That was interesting, I think, that the Chafetz Chaim says. Right.
Rabbi?
Yes.
What's the minimum amounts of water?
Three ounces. In order you have to drink 3 ounces of water.
3 ounces. Okay, thanks.
No, in order to say a bracha achrona, meaning to say bracha rishona, right. To say the bracha before you drink any water or you drink any food or any liquid or any solid, in order to say any amount, if you want to, I want to, any amount of food that I want to eat, any amount of liquid I want to drink, I want to drink a half an ounce, I have to say a bracha before I eat it. Any amount. But to say the after bracha, I have to have a certain amount. I have to have 3 ounces of liquid in order to say a bracha achrona. You're getting into a interesting area regarding, meaning what, whether to say a bracha or not?
I want to know how it tastes. I'm measuring my intake. No, I'm measuring the amount of water that or food that you mix something with in order to get it perfect. I'm not drinking.
Right, you're not, if you're not, what Mr. Haber is pointing out is talking about a different question. If a person goes ahead and he tastes something not for the purpose of enjoying it and eating it, just for some other purpose, and then there's discussion about maybe you will not need to say a bracha on it if you eat or if you taste the food, not for the purpose of eating. I want to taste the food because I'm baking a cake and I want to know, I'm tasting it, not because I'm interested in the taste of the cake. So there is discussion whether if you swallow it, would you have to say a bracha or not? I think there's discussion about it. Let's see. What do you say? Right. Let's see if we can find that over here. Yeah, we said there you don't make a bracha. If you take a pill and you're drinking it just for the water, just to get it down, you will not say a bracha. I would have to try to find that case. I know there's discussion about that case, but generally, I believe most people, when we taste the food, most of the time, we're not bakers in the kitchen baking the food. We are mostly tasting the food. We want to enjoy the taste. We're eating the food for the purpose of I want to have a piece of this cake. I'm tasting the cake because I want to eat this cake. I want this piece of cake. I'm not just, and therefore my intention is for eating purposes. And we at least in the Sephardi community, we have to see. We in the Ashkenaz community we would say a bracha. But I want to enjoy it. I'm tasting. I made cake. Please taste my cake. I'm tasting because I want to eat it. Because I'm tasting. Right. That's for some other purpose. Yeah, but it said the halacha said you're not supposed to be eating that afikomen in that fashion. You're supposed to make sure that you go ahead and you should save room to eat the afikomen. It's not acceptable. Okay, so maybe you should wait a little bit before then eat it. After you wait until you get a little appetite. That's what I would say. Better to wait. Wait till you get a little appetite. You eat afikomen with a little appetite. All right. Just how did. How do you look case of Vorchen? Right, he said, wait till I have an appetite to switch the shit. How did Allah case of Vorchen? We'll just say the first line of the next parak. 3 people that eat together. It's the new parak. You have an obligation to do zimun. You can't just go ahead and everyone, if we ate together, we started together, we had food together, we had bread together, then we can't just everyone go on their own way. We have to do a zimun when we finish the meal. We'll talk more about this tomorrow. Yes. Starting is very critical, and we'll see starting, we'll see more about other parts, but starting, so far we said starting is, if you start together, you're obligated to do Zimur. Have a good day, everybody. Good to see you, Shmuley. Good to see you, Avrami.
Same here, Mazel tov.
Joseph. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Take care.